Hey everyone, it's Magical Mom Laura, and today we're going to be going over the pros and cons of the Pop Century Resort. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Laura. I have a 4.5-year-old daughter, Landon, and my husband, Phil, and we do go to Disney a lot. We recently went about 2 months ago, the first week of December, my daughter and I on a solo trip. And she and I stayed at Pop Century Resort for the third time together. My husband has never stayed there. I also stayed there with my mom sometime maybe 15 or so years ago. So this was my fourth time staying in Pop Century Resort. It is our preferred solo trip when I go with my daughter to stay there for the value and the Skyliner. So let's jump into the pros of the Pop Century Resort. The Pop Century Resort celebrates the different decades and all of the fads, fashion, trivia from the 1950s through the 1990s. Pop Century is a value resort, so along with the All-Star resorts, which I have not stayed in a long time, and the reason why is my first pro, they are going to be the cheapest on-site Disney resort that you can stay at. So for the value, you cannot beat being in the Disney bubble at these value resorts. So the first big pro of the Pop Century Resort is going to be the Skyliner. The reason why I love the Skyliner so much with kids, and especially on a solo trip, is you do not need to break down your stroller to get on a bus to go to Epcot and to Hollywood Studios. You still need to do it for Animal Kingdom and also for Magic Kingdom. You have to get a bus transportation, which means you have to break down your stroller, get your child, your backpack, your rain cover, your stroller folded up, all together on the bus. To be able to roll your stroller right onto the Skyliner and go to, so the places it goes is the Hollywood Studios, to Caribbean Beach Resort, Riviera Resort, the Boardwalk, and Epcot. A lot of access to a lot of places and get there fast and easy. Love the Skyliner. The theming, the retro, love the theming of Pop Century. It's not Disney themed, but I mean, I think most resorts aren't Disney themed, right? Like Animal Kingdom is Africa, Yacht is, you know, being on the beach, and Grand Floridian is, I think it's after the resort in California, so it's like California Beach, Yacht and Beach, or East Coast Beach. So it is its own little neat, unique theming of the different decades, and it's fun to walk around, and Landon loves seeing all of the huge, like Mr. Potato Heads, Goofy, we stayed at right in front of the Hippy Dippy pool on this last trip, and we walked up the stairs up a yo-yo to go to our room. So just fun. The colors are so vibrant. So it just puts you in a good mood, I feel like, when you're around these colors and the Hippy Dippy pool, and just all the vibrancy and the big Play-Dohs and things like that. So I love the theming. One of my favorite things about the theming, which I've done before, I'll post the video below, we kind of did a walkthrough. They have these shadow boxes in the lobby of the different decades and the different toys. So those are a lot of fun. I'm sure some of those toys are worth a lot of money because they are like in good condition, and they are like from the 60s, 70s, 80s. I think they even have 50s. So if you do go to the Pop Century, make sure you take the time to look at those shadow boxes along the lobby. The other really neat thing is that as you're walking along, they have neat trivia that you can read on signs about the different decades. So that's sort of a fun thing to do while you're walking around the resort. The rooms, they renovated since, I don't know when they were renovated, I'll put it on the screen, but since we started staying there, my daughter was, I think, 15 or 16 months old the first time we stayed there. So for 3 years, the 3 years we've been staying at Pop Century, the rooms have been renovated. And they did such a great job. Instead of having, I think they had 2 double beds before, you have a Murphy bed with a table. So the table gives you so much more room and area within a small value-sized room. They are very much on the small size, but they really did a great job of squeezing out efficiency and storage and giving you more space on the floor with a Murphy bed. So you still have the same capacity for sleeping, but it feels so much bigger, and now you have a nice table to eat at if you order pizza in the room or take food back. Or if you have a daughter who was sick, which was what happened to me, I had pneumonia, it was a nice place to have to sit down while she was in the bed asleep or watching Disney Junior. Actually, this past trip we got a king bed and it did not have a Murphy bed, which was fine because it was just the 2 of us. The mid-century modern design of it, I absolutely love. The sliding door to close off the bathroom, it is very light and sound friendly. It's not proof, but it really cuts out a lot of light and a lot of sound. So when my daughter was asleep on solo trips out in the room, I could shut the door and take a shower and not wake her up or anything like that. Something small that I wish Disney did in all of their rooms is they have like these little hooks on the wall. So that's really great for your raincoats and my Loungefly and things like that. So the beds also have room underneath, so you can put your luggage, which in a small room like Pop Century and Value Resorts, it really does help. The other nice thing is they have elevators. So like the Caribbean Beach Resort, which is a moderate higher price, does not have elevators, but here at Pop Century you have elevators to go up. And it is, like I said, a fun resort to walk around. I noticed we were there during Christmas, the first week of December, and a lot of people have decorated their windows. So that was a lot of fun to look at. And then I've never done it. We planned on doing it this trip. She got sick, but I've never walked over to Art of Animation. I've seen it before with the big animation Disney animated movies, like Little Mermaid, Cars, and Lion King, I think, things like that to go over and look at. So between Pop and Art of Animation, if you are doing like a resort day, it is a really fun place to just walk around and look at everything and have the kids explore. Another nice thing is, I guess, how accessible everything is, especially if you stay right in front of the Hippy Dippy pool, which I think we paid a little more for a preferred room this trip, and we stayed right there overlooking the pool. It was very nice. But they have a pool bar there that's adorable. And then they have the Pop Century food court, quick service area, which you can mobile order, go pick up your food. It's a perfectly fine food court. It's your only option for food, so not a lot of options on food. But what is there is a really nice selection, I think, and something that cannot be missed if you're ever just visiting or staying at the Pop Century is their tie-dye cheesecake. I've gotten it all 4 times I've stayed there. It is so good. I don't know how it's so good. Like, I like cheesecake, but I don't like die over cheesecake, and I die over this cheesecake. So that is a must get and a big pro of the Pop Century.
This cheesecake is bomb delicious.
Bomb delicious? Agreed.
And I do have to give another pro. Like I said, my daughter was sick. I was on a solo trip, and it was a pretty difficult situation for me. She was sleeping a lot. She was misdiagnosed. I don't know what they thought it was. It ended up being pneumonia, and they didn't give her the right meds. So she was sleeping a lot. We were in the room a lot. So, you know, they had no, I think usually they have pizza delivery, but since COVID, like, they haven't even had pizza delivery. So the manager checked on me all the time, and like, I might get a little emotional here, but like, you know, it was really, really difficult. And she called me after we were at the emergency room to check on me to see if we needed anything, and the doctor was like, you need to alternate Tylenol and Advil to keep ahead of the fever. And all I had was Tylenol in our first aid kit. And the doctor was like, they'll for sure have Advil at the lobby, and they didn't. So I was like, well, I was like worried, like, you know, her fever wouldn't stay under control overnight. And that night, so she just happened to call me when we got back from the hospital. Do you need anything? And I just said, oh, like, do you have any Advil, like, at the front desk? Because you didn't have the lobby. They sent a runner, they called them runners, out to an actual store off property and brought me the children's ibuprofen, all completely free. Like, so amazing. Like, meant the world to me. I don't like getting so emotional. It was a hard time. And then the other thing she did, what she followed up, like, we were there, I think 3 nights. She followed up again the next day. Do you need food? We can bring you food. And I was like, I think, like, she'll be okay. I can take her down. And, like, she was sick and she was sleeping and I was starving and it was like 3 o'clock. So I was like, all right, I guess I need to call them. So they sent out their runner again. She was like, just mobile order what you want and then they'll go and get it and bring it up to you. And they did, and they were so nice. So big, I wish I had her name. Again, it was a little traumatic. I wish I could have given her a cast compliment, but you know, Disney managers are always amazing, but you know, I don't know, you just don't expect as much in a value resort to get the same amount of service, and she went above and beyond. So that is an enormous pro. I'm gonna go into the cons, but I need a minute. All right, let's have some tea. So the cons of Pop Century. It is a small room. The design helps out a lot with that, but it is a lot for, I would imagine, a family of 4. The most I've stayed there, my sister stayed with us a couple nights in the Murphy bed, and when you're all getting ready and moving around, it's a small room. There are thin walls. Nothing that can be done about it. It's unfortunate when you have loud people next to you because you're gonna hear them. It kind of woke us up a couple times, and we bring a portable noise machine, white noise machine. There was a woman next to me with a terrible cough, and then there was another time it was like a crying baby, and I mean, yeah, it woke us up. So that is something that you get with a value resort, I think. You can kind of hear your neighbors a lot. So that is a big con. Something that is my pet peeve is that Disney is getting rid of a lot of the tubs, and that is the case at Pop Century. A lot of them don't have a lot of tubs. They have showers, and they're kind of slippery, and my daughter has fallen in a lot of Disney showers. So I'm really not happy about that. And then the second thing I'm not happy about is that Disney does not design these showers with a shaving ledge. So as a woman, you have to do some yoga moves to try to get your legs shaved when you're wearing shorts every day. So that's a big con for me. And I think there must have been a lot of complaining because we stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge this past summer and they had a shaving ledge in the shower. But my daughter did fall in the shower. They're slippery. Disney, you're for kids. Like, have tubs in the bathroom. Another con with the room is that there are not a lot of drawers. They do have a lot of shelving in the bathroom, which is really nice. So if when you pack, I would definitely recommend using packing cubes, especially if you're staying at Pop Century, or even the Caribbean had a lot of shelves as well. Well, Caribbean had a lot of drawers, but not a lot of drawer space. So if you like to unpack, you're not living out of your suitcase, it's a longer trip, I would definitely recommend having packing cubes that you can kind of sit on the shelves and they're organized like that. This is something that is just a moderate and value thing, but there's no balcony or outdoor space. So if you do have kids and you want to stay up later, especially solo, there's no private area for you to retreat to. So that's just a negative of, I guess, the value and what you're getting for your money. When Landa was at 1 year old, we stayed there 1 and 2. I guess we stayed there when she was 1 and 2. And when she was 1, we stayed at a lot of Disney resorts, and the deluxe give you really nice cribs. Well, this one gave you a pack and play, and it was really, really thin and hard. So that is one negative if you're traveling with a baby and value resort. So with the Skyliner, it's a very small con, but you're gonna have to transfer at the Caribbean hub. So when you take the Skyliner over, the next stop is the Caribbean from Art of Animation and Pop, and you do have to get off to go to Hollywood Studios, Epcot, Caribbean, and Riviera. So that's just a small negative. It's not that big of a deal, but the lines can get long. So but they move really fast. So if you go over and then you'll have to get back in line to go to wherever you're gonna end up if it's not Caribbean and Riviera. Speaking of transportation, buses take forever. So if you are not going to Hollywood Studios or Epcot, you have to wait for a bus. The lines are so long, and we experienced like very, very long lines. I think our Magic Kingdom day this last trip, we waited 45 minutes for a bus. She fell asleep, again, she was sick, but she fell asleep in her stroller. So that is a big negative, but I think it's just part of saving money and staying in a value in the Disney bubble. It's like the trade-off, you know? A small thing, and it might be for all the values, but there's no slide in the pool. And I don't know if your kids are like this, but my daughter went down the Animal Kingdom Lodge slide like literally like probably 40 to 50 times. So that's kind of a big negative. And also, I think I mentioned it in the pros, like the food court's really nice, but that is your only option for food. And like other resorts where maybe you can have easy access to like the boardwalk, like from Dolphin, or other resorts like Caribbean and the Riviera is right there for a sit-down restaurant, you're gonna have to like take the bus or the Skyliner to somewhere else if you want a nicer meal or just have variety in dining. This is small with the room, but there's no steamer. Disney got me like addicted to the steamer. So when we were there at Animal Kingdom Lodge, they had a steamer to steam out your clothes. It was so nice. They had one at Caribbean. Pop does not have one, so that's just a small con. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of my pros and cons. If you have any pros and cons, if you love Pop as much as I do, and if you've stayed there, let me know in the comments. And be sure to check out my playlist. I go over the pros and cons of Dolphin, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Coronado, Caribbean, and now Pop. So be sure to check those out. I will see you guys on the next one, and I hope you're having a magical day. I have my Loungefly. I'm actually wearing Crocs today and no jean jacket because it's actually a very warm day today. So this is gonna be a perfect little Christmas outfit for home. So, and I missed a kiddie pool. So 90s are basically connected to the 80s. So there's the kiddie pool. That would have been nice to know it was there. I bet you Landon would have loved that. It's nice. It's on the other side of the hippy dippy pool. So this is for kids 5 to 12. It's on the other side of the 70s building. It's nice. Side note, how often do parents say, watch where you're walking, watch where you're going? They say it a lot. Am I gonna say it to you a lot?